Ago to the Volunteers. 10 consecutive wins for Houston. Meanwhile, Arizona State hung with #1 Arizona a couple nights ago. Ended up falling, though, to the Wildcats by 7 in Tucson. A rough back-to-back, going to #1 and then to #7 in consecutive road games. They also played at BYU a week ago. So 3 straight road games against top 10 teams.
Good execution, great kick out.
Sanak knocks down the long ball.
Defensively, they tried to collapse down low on the paint, and Sanak has the ability to really stretch from the outside, able to knock that shot down.
Mayusin has it taken away by Uzan. And the slam by Flemings, a 5-0 start.
Now that's a recipe of disaster for Arizona State to have a turnover. Live ball turnovers will turn immediately into points for the Houston Cougars.
Odom gets free, can't knock down the 3, and 1 and done. That's a problem against a great rebounding team. Houston also terrific defensively, #1 in the country and fewest points allowed. Sanak, baseline fall away, offensive rebound, and the putback by Tugler, 7-0 Cougars.
Any surprise that Tugler's the guy that gets the offensive rebound? He has more offensive rebounds this season than he has defensive rebounds. In fact, 56% of his rebounds are on the offensive glass.
Tough shot for Odom. It gets stuck. And on the possession arrow, it will stay with Arizona State.
The key
Odom is their best offensive player, averaging 17 points per game. Bobby Hurley was telling us today that he's going to have to get it out of his hand quickly. I don't know if he meant shoot it that quick, though.
Well, no, and the problem with those live ball turnovers, too, is when you set the on-ball screen, you know that you're going to get doubled. You've got to be strong, and you've got to be sure with it. Keep your bounce alive and allow yourself to relocate and find somebody that's coming up and lifting from the wing.
Chop fell down. Another turnover in the open floor is Sharp. And a foul called on Odom as he reached in for the strip. First foul in the game, and free throws coming up for Houston.
2 turnovers that lead to easy runouts. You know, Houston still relies on their defense and their ability to make plays from their defense. The amount of detail and precision, if you go to a Kelvin Sampson practice, it blows you away with how they understand how they want to rotate, where they want to help from, how they're going to try to even give different looks to teams that get comfortable watching film and try to understand where they're at.
First free throw good for Emmanuel Sharp, who's shooting 85% for the season at the line. He's had some big games this year. 27 against Florida State, 26 against Syracuse. In the loss to Tennessee, though, he struggled, had just 8 points in that game. Well, Houston has scored in each of its first 4 possessions, while Arizona State has turned it over twice in its first 4 attempts. Truitt double teamed, and the shot clock already inside of 10 seconds. Ford on the baseline, shoots and hits over 2 defenders.
You're going to have to make some difficult shots against Houston's defense. You got to hit the open ones. When you have it, you got to be able to take it and knock it down, and then you're going to be forced to hit some contested tough 2s.
And Bryce Ford is a guy that can score. They really missed him when he was out with injury. He's averaging about 15 per game in 2 Big 12 games. Tugler, with good defense from Truitt, couldn't find the bottom of the net. And Odom up the floor. Houston unable to set its defense. Odom missed the floater, and rebound by Sharp.
I don't actually mind that shot, though, at all by Mo Odom. If you can try to run in the open floor, you might get some good things.
Kept alive, good ball movement, and the 3 from the corner from Uzan. Not having as good a year shooting as he did last year. Maybe that'll get him going. He also, in the last game against West Virginia, hit 5 threes.
Well, part of that is because they've moved him off the ball. He was on the ball and would dribble into rhythm on a shot. A lot more catch and shoots this year, but he's getting better and better with it.
This is the start that Arizona State could not afford. Houston getting out in transition, getting offensive rebounds. Arizona State, a lot of one and done. Long 3, no good from Ford, and no second chance opportunities. Sharp trying to go baseline. And the 6'11" Sinak hits his second three-pointer.
A red-hot start from Sinak and the Cougars from beyond the arc. That's 3 threes already. He's talented. He's one of those other freshmen. We talked about Kingston Flemings, but Sinak was a McDonald's All-American as well.
Odom with the lob hit the rim. And now Houston looking to run up 15-2. Flemings underneath. Tugler, the easy basket.
How about that pass? The feel from the freshman. You understand why Kingston Flemings is a guy whose name is being mentioned in the top 10 of this year's NBA draft. He came to Houston. He's playing with resiliency and it can be as elite as it's been, and it's why they have the makeup of once again being at the end of the season in a national title game in Indianapolis.
Here's Chop with a turnaround jumper. And again, no second chance opportunities for Arizona State. Uzan off the Sacco screen. They work it around to the corner, get another good look, and another three-pointer. This time it's Harwell.
Third assist already for Flemings, and just doing a good job making simple reads. You know, get the ball in your hands, somebody's open, swing it, let him knock it down.
And another turnover as Chop couldn't handle the pass.
This is a nightmare for Arizona State.
Yesterday, Vandy will be in action as well, taking on Arkansas, and it's Kansas and Colorado. Another pass underneath by Flemings. Sinak with the slam. It's 22-2. Loaded question, Sean. What does Arizona State have to do here?
Exhale, breathe. I mean, they're just getting overwhelmed in every facet of this game. That if you would have drawn it up and told Kelvin Sampson that your team was going to come out, that your opponent's going to start 1 of 6 shooting, they're going to have 4 turnovers, you're going to be able to knock down consistency from beyond the arc of 4 for 4 from 3, and then get everything you want in the paint. He would have said, are you kidding me? We're going to be up that much? And the answer is yes. And they're going to add to it because they're not going to let off the throttle. Flemings
gets the block on one end. He has 4 assists. Now the pull-up jumper. It is 24-2. It's a 15-0 run.
The one thing about Houston, too, is that they don't let off the throttle. Their defense stays with that level of intensity.
Big Johnson, best look of the night, and it's good, a three-pointer.
Uzan fell down in the middle of the paint. Only reason on that one extra pass, it was a wide-open 3. But Arizona State's got to take advantage of those opportunities when they get them. The bigger question for Arizona State is, can they get a stop? I mean, not only can they not score the ball, but they're struggling to get any kind of stop here.
No turnovers, 9 of 11 field goals for Houston. Sinak finally misses a shot. He made 2 threes earlier. And they get a defensive rebound. Johnson with a blow-by. Shovels to Jop underneath. Can't score, though. Poked out. Odom will try it. In and out. Batted back outside to Odom by McCabe. They'll go to McCabe on the high post. They quickly double. Got caught in the air. Tough pass. And another Arizona State turnover. That's 5 giveaways, and on the other end, Sinak with another easy basket.
Every time you give it away, it's going to lead to an easy finish inside the paint. Houston makes you pay.
Well, there are a lot of angry fans in this building because of what the Texans were doing and all the turnovers that they were committing against New England. And now you're watching the team that Houston's playing.
I thought you were alluding to me being a 49er fan, having to watch what I watched last night.
Hey, at least your team was in the playoffs. On the cut, Uzan couldn't handle the pass. And that is the first Houston turnover. Great play on the other end. Wow, Flemings with the quick hands knocks it out of bounds off Arizona State.
As good as advertised, right? I mean, just his impact on the game. Defensively, he's got a block shot. He just deflected that one out of bounds to create a turnover for his team. Multiple runouts, ability to finish, shooting 2 for 2 from the field with 4 assists. Kingston Flemings has been special so far this evening.
Kelvin Sampson told us earlier today he's a great kid, very coachable, likes hard coaching, great teammate, strong leadership qualities, and we've really seen that on display all season as he gets to the basket there for another layup.
The ability to snake off that on-ball screen and just get to the strong side of the floor. Nobody's there and helps out rotation because you can't help off the shooter in the corner.
And another turning undefeateds overall.
Well, Miami, Ohio as well.
Talking about the power schools.
Yes. The Texas Tech with a big win last night over BYU gave BYU their first loss. They closed the game similar on a run like we're seeing to start the game for Houston. And Kingston Flemings just continues to get anywhere he wants on the field. You'd say the one negative for Houston, Dave, is that they only have one offensive rebound. The problem is they've only missed 3 shots, so we really can't criticize that much.
Oh, tough shot. Mayusin hit a 3 with 2 defenders on him. Still, even with that 3-pointer, Flemings has as many points as Arizona State does. 8 apiece. Houston by 22. Flemings, and that's his first miss of the game. But they get it back. Pass underneath. Walker can't control it. Out of bounds to ASU.
It's interesting. You look at this freshman, Sanak and Flemings combined. 18 of the 30 points so far have come off of their fingertips. And one of the things Kelvin Sampson brought up, and you mentioned it, like they're the background of these players, but their parents were coaches. They were heavily involved in their club teams. They, as you mentioned, they want to be coached hard, and that's what has made this work this year, because when you recruit the level of freshmen that they brought in this year to Houston, those guys expect to play. And Kelvin Sampson expected them to play, but they had to learn how to do it the Houston way, and a lot of that comes over the course of the summer.
A lot of the young players played for their dads in high school. Looked like a flop there. That's why there was no whistle. Bobby Hurley thought there should have been an offensive foul on Sharp. 3-pointer from Gribovich is good, and Arizona State has knocked down 3 3-pointers.
What did they just do? They give Coach Hurley already got technical.
I think it's on Gribovich. That is where Kip Kissinger, the crew chief, was pointing. Don't know if he said something after he made the 3.
I think he gave that one to Bobby. And he's mad about the push-off. But that was a delayed technical, because by the time the shot was made, the ball was already coming back down the floor.
Sharp got the free throw. And one more coming.
Well, even with the freshman, the guy at the free throw line right now is the guy that is the leader of the team. And as Coach Sampson told us, you know, coach-led teams usually underachieve. Player-led teams usually excel. And Sharp, Uzan, and Tugler are the 3 that he relies on most. Sharp being the guy that without question has been the vocal leader of this group this year. You see it at practice, you see it at the shoot-arounds.
Midway point of the first half, it is 32-13 Houston. 4 of 6 from 3 are the Cougars. Knock away by Truitt and a turnover. Mayusin in the open floor. That was a nice dish from Odom.
Arizona State kind of settling down here a little bit. They're starting to take the first good look they have instead of passing up on some of those good looks, because against Houston's defense, you might only get one open shot in a possession, and you got to be able to knock them down.
You're right. You better get them before they set their defense, as Odom is called for the foul. That is his second personal. Thursday on ESPN and the ESPN app. Joyce Edwards in number 2 South Carolina taking on a 13th ranked Oklahoma team that lost today to LSU by 19. South Carolina is now 19-1 on the season after a win over Coppin State. So Odom has to go to the bench for Arizona State with 2 fouls.
That really hurts Arizona State's offense.
Uzan with a take and the follow jam by Tugler.
If you don't put a body on Tugler, as soon as the shot is released off the fingertips, he's going to go get the offensive rebound. He has 2 offensive rebounds on the game, and as you follow and track the ball going across the lane, he's going to just rim run, and when he gets there, he finishes it with power and force.
Meanwhile, Sharp commits a foul on the other end. The first foul on Houston. He played 10.5 minutes. Cougars are excellent on the glass. They don't turn the ball over. Third in the country in turnover
Great hands
margin.
by Mercy Miller. How many deflections do they get? I mean, if you're weak with the ball and you expose it, they're going to get fingertips on it.
Johnson, corner three. Defensive rebound, Tugler. Sharp leaning in, draws contact, hits the bank shot, and one. Foul on Ford. His first. Fourth on Arizona State.
Emmanuel Sharp just does a great job of lifting. And the second he lifts and the defensive player leaves their feet, it's easy to get into the body and be able to finish. I mean, 5 20-point games this season. His season best is 27 against Florida State. He always squares his shoulders even when his feet are seemingly off balance. And he's really good at squaring their shoulders and then just getting that soft touch and follow through off the glass.
Obviously, we talked about the young guys for Houston, but the foundation of the team is still the veterans. You think about Emmanuel Sharp, this is his 5th year. He's got 111 wins. He's a 3-year starter. Not a lot of top 10 programs have guys like that.
He's in great shape, too, this year.
The tip in after the miss by Truitt from Gribovic.
Good job that time by Truitt, doing exactly what, so often Houston does. High wedging, that means coming over and pushing the defensive player underneath the glass and be able to finish.
Off the bounce, Uzan swishes home a 3. The 5th for Houston of the first half. Arizona State has settled down, but it was 24-2 at one point. So a lot to overcome. An air ball from Truitt. Can they get stops on the other end to stay within striking distance? 3 is off target for Mercy Miller. Gribovic takes it all the way. Missed the layup. And out of bounds was Sinak as he touched the ball. So it will be Arizona State ball when we come back to Houston, where the Cougars trying to.
It's always been the defensive end of the floor under Kelvin Sampson. And they got a 22-point lead right now. They're plus 10 points off of turnovers. 8 turnovers, 6 of them have been steals. And Kelvin Sampson often tells his teams, when other people are running plays, we are disrupting them. And to beat Houston, you have to execute at a very precise level and value the basketball, not turn it over, and meet their physicality.
Three-pointer out of the timeout is good by Ford, and that is keeping Arizona State somewhat in striking distance. But back to your point on the turnovers, Houston has as many points off of Arizona State turnovers as the Sun Devils have points.
Crazy.
Good ball movement against the zone. Driving baseline, McCarty. Shot clock down to 5. Uzan into the teeth of the paint. Tugler underneath, put up an air ball.
That was off balance. And Tugler kind of short-armed that one a little bit.
Arizona State 4 for 11 from 3 and 4 for 11 from 2-point range. Akeba driving, got past his man, no basket, a foul on Tugler. Just the second team foul on Houston. And back into the game, Kingston Flemings, who's been spectacular so far. Freshman from San Antonio, is averaging 15 points per game, which is the second most in school history by a freshman.
And as you mentioned, just so uncharacteristic, too, for Kelvin Sampson to have to rely on young players, this many young players in his rotation. It comes in and immediately creates a steal.
Yep, knocking it away from Jop. Uzan with the easy layup in transition. It's back to a 21-point lead.
And it's just outstanding defense by Kingston Flemings.
Gribovic trying to get around his man, just lost his footing and traveled.
But part of the problem right now is when you're unsettled offensively like Arizona State is, you start to feel the pressure. And that's a lazy one-handed pass. You throw a lazy one-handed pass, it's getting stolen. The rotations are there for Houston, and then they just score out in front, and it doesn't even give your defense a chance to slow down Houston.
Arizona State now with 10 turnovers and 8 baskets.
Meanwhile, 9 assists on 16 made field goals for Houston.
Great pass by Flemings, and a good look from the corner. McCarty hits a 3, but that started with the play made by Kingston Flemings.
When they make shots, and the way that they play defense, if they're this efficient, it is really difficult to beat Houston. I don't care who you are. Line up anybody. Like we've talked so much this college basketball season, and deservedly so, about Arizona, Michigan, the start they had, Iowa State up until this week when they lost 2 games. And meanwhile, here's Houston just being Houston. One loss, it was a 1-possession game 2 months ago. Otherwise, they'd be undefeated right now.
It's a team that week 1 was number 1 in the country. They were number 2 actually going into the season. After week 1, they were number 1. Why do you think that is, that not enough people are talking about them?
Well, I think when they took their loss to Tennessee, there's other teams that had elevated up and were playing outstanding basketball. In particular, Michigan and Arizona. They were thumping everybody. I mean, Michigan went through a streak where they beat everybody by 40. And you talk about them and the attention starts to drift a little bit. But I think as you get into conference play here, more and more, people are going to start talking about Houston, Final Four, national championship quality good. You've got 9 guys on this roster that suited up for a national title game last year. Look at that defense.
Uzan with a steal, 11th Arizona State turnover.
I feel like Arizona State is the San Francisco 49ers. And the Houston Cougars are the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, like every time you think you make a positive play or you're making something, you turn the ball over.
That one's going to sting for a while, huh?
Yeah, it's going to hurt. Not as much as the injuries hurt this year, but it's going to hurt.
Nearing 4 minutes to go in the first half. The lead is 24 for Houston. It was 24-2 right out of the gates. That one with a fortunate roll into the hands of Truitt. Great contest. Missed the shot. Grivovich has it. The floater. No. And a blocking foul. First free throws of the night for Arizona State.
Part of the thing, you look at 4 minutes left to go in this first half. Masama Diop was a guy we previewed at the start of this game for how well he's been playing, how active he's been, averaging close to 20 points, 7 rebounds, and over 3 blocks. He has been a non-factor in this game against the physical nature of this Houston Cougars defense.
Yeah, no points, 0 for 2 from the floor, and 2 rebounds. Grivovich misses the free throw.
And for Arizona State to be successful, look, you need Mo Odom to be playing well. Pig Johnson needs to play well. Diop needs to be at his season average at least. And when all 3 of those guys are struggling and have yet to really find their rhythm, you have a score of what it looks like right now on the screen.
Bobby Hurley's already been teed up once. So he'll take a seat, try to stay calm, knowing that got a long way to go in this game.
And as you mentioned it, I mean, grueling part of the schedule. Every Big 12 team is going to experience this at some point in time. Arizona State's just came early this year.
At BYU, home game against Kansas State, which Arizona State won. Then back-to-back at Arizona, at Houston.
Doesn't get much tougher in the conference.
Johnson's able to spot up, but can't knock down the 3. That was a good look, though. Arizona State shooting 35% from the floor. Houston at 60%. Uzan, who's 2 of 2 from 3. He's got 7 threes in his last 2 games.
Oh, what a split.
Oh! As Flemings went for the dunk, he was met in midair. That looked like that was going to be a highlight on the offensive end. Ended up being one with the block. And the 3 from Ford on the other end.
The best offense has come in early transition for Arizona State when they've been able to find shooters from beyond the arc.
Flemings puts it on the floor, finds Harwell. Harwell hits another three.
And again, it's that dribble penetration, and it forced Harwell's defensive player to step, and then the relocation and flattening out to the corner is what gave up that wide open three.
He's 2 for 2 from 3. Came in shooting under 30% on the year from out there. Johnson drives, blocked by Sacco. And he landed out of bounds in possession of the ball, so it'll be Arizona State ball when we come back. But Houston.
You're not lying, Coach. It's a huge problem. That's a problem too, right? I mean, that's just disconnected to lose that three. But I mean, look, the injuries to Fred Warner, Bosa, Kittle. I mean, just devastating.
Meanwhile, Arizona State with 6 threes and 5 2-point baskets. The 49 points for Houston is tied for the most in the first half that they've scored this season. There's still 2 minutes to go. Tugler spinning and finishing with 4 on the shot clock. Boy, is he impressive.
They just isolated him, and because it shot the ball so well, nobody is able to pinch in and help at all. And it goes one-on-one, and Tugler just overpowers the freshman.
Tugler now with 8 points, 4 rebounds, and a traveling violation on Johnson. Well, tomorrow night, it is the College Football Playoff National Championship game right here on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern with #1 Indiana Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza taking on 10th-ranked Miami. We'll have pregame coverage all day and have you covered for the game on every platform, TV, radio, and digital. You got a prediction, since you're obviously a big football guy, based on your 49er breakdown a minute ago?
I think Indiana's too tough. I just think, you know, I love the defensive line of Miami, but I just think Indiana, Mendoza, they've been special all year. You called those games. Your thoughts?
Hard to disagree. Indiana has been rolling. It is a special year, but they are a little undersized up front against that Miami D-line. That is the matchup to watch. Three-pointer from Sharp. 8 threes for Houston and 54 first-half points.
And free chicken for the students. They had to hit over 6 threes. They've done that. They've taken care of that. Houston's been elite in every aspect and every phase of the game.
Here's Joppa, who has not scored in this game, and he's still without a point. He's 0 for 3 now from the field. Oh, logo 3 from straight away, not there for Sharp, but offensive rebound Tugler.
And that's his 3rd offensive rebound for JoJo Tugler here in the first half.
And a timeout by Kelvin Sampson to draw one final play with 14 on the shot clock. I have no sympathy for your nut.
Kingston Flemings has been sensational in the first half of this game. Balanced scoring across the board for Houston. A large part of that is because of his awareness and ability to deliver the ball on time in an area where his shooters can just get their hands underneath it and knock it down. 6 assists on the game for Kingston Flemings to go with 8 points. The bigger thing is 6 scorers for Houston have 6 points or more here in the first half. 6.
Also for Flemings, no turnovers and 3 steals. Shot clock at 3. Good look, Uzan. In and out. Trying to put it back with Sharp in one motion. He couldn't. Out of bounds off Arizona State, and Houston can take the final shot. The most points in any half scored by Houston this season, 55. We mentioned for a first half earlier what the total was, and Houston's already surpassed that. That was the second half against New Orleans earlier this year, where they scored 55. They'll eclipse that with a basket here in the waning moments of a dominant first half performance by the 7th-ranked team in the country. And Flemings is fouled. Arizona State with a couple to give.
Really, the one thing, there's been hardly any foul calls in this game. I mean, 8 combined fouls between the two teams.
5 seconds left. And a foul called on the drive by Harwell, and he'll shoot 2.
Good awareness by the freshman. He caught the ball and immediately looked at the clock above the basket, knew how much time he had to attack, and then was able to draw the foul.
They got Truitt for the foul. His first, 6th team foul. And Houston now 5 of 6 at the foul line.
And these two teams just worlds apart right now as far as productivity goes here in the first half. Points off of turnovers just continue to be huge for Houston. 22 points alone just off those 12 turnovers, most of them steals.
And Sean, this was an Arizona State team that hung with some teams early in the year, played well in Maui, but
and hung with Arizona last time out.
Lost by 7. Midcourt shot at the buzzer. No good from Gribovich. And the Houston Cougars take a 27-point lead to the locker room. Most beats 6 players at 8+ points for Houston, and Sanak had the most with 12.
Oh, what a great execution. That was immediately by Sharp, coming up that screen at that elbow, wide open underneath.
And he's just the 2nd Cougar in double figures with 11. And this is the largest lead of the game for Houston.
Well, conversely, and you mentioned this, the 2 leading scorers, Odom and Jop, combined average 30.5 points per game on the season. They have 0 in the first 20. Meanwhile, the execution coming right out of this possession, just great movement. And if you're trailing on screens, you're just giving up layups.
Houston is led wire to wire in wins 7 of the 16 games they've played this year. And they have not trailed in this one as Arizona State turns it over for the 13th time. 5 of those wire-to-wire wins were here at home. As the issues continue for Arizona State with ball security. Uzan puts it on the floor. And Tugler missed the easy one right at the rim, but an offensive rebound. And Sharp drills the 3.
Just the best time to get that 3. You just kick it out right away. And Sharp doesn't need a lot of space.
And Bobby Hurley already going to his bench. Doesn't like what he's seeing defensively, as a foul is called on the drive by Truitt. And if you're Houston, that's the only thing at this point you can't do. You can't foul at this point and allow Arizona State to get freebies at the line with the clock stop.
Just watch Sanak just immediately gets that offensive rebound, gets his feet set, finds Emmanuel Sharp, and just similar to what we saw at the start of the game. I mean, it started on a 7-0 run to begin with. It's a 5-0 run to start the second half as well.
And Sharp has the last 8 points for Houston going back to the first half as Truitt knocks down the free throw. Houston gives up 59 points per game on the year. And Arizona State now with 31, but down 30. As McCabe checks in for Arizona State, Truitt will go to the bench. Even if they give up the 59 points in this game, if Houston didn't score the rest of the way, they'd still win.
And then they score. This has been really impressive. The surgical-like approach at both ends of the floor.
10 in a row for Sharp. Jop fouled. He'll get a chance to go to the line, looking for his first points.
That was the first time we've seen Jop try to get to an area where he's got, that lob threat above the rim. They haven't gotten to his mid-range jump shot at all. He just has not gotten very comfortable at all in this game. He came from Senegal. In fact, Coach Hurley was telling us one of the assistant coaches had to go over to Senegal to get him because they had some issues, obviously getting visa and whatnot. And they sent one of the assistants over and brought him back. And he missed all of the summer. And so the growth that you're seeing has been because of the player development at ASU and getting him to be much more comfortable and confident in this system.
He's 7'1". He has a skill set. Can he get stronger and more physical? Couldn't close out there in the Uzan 3, and the lead is 33, 2 minutes into the second half.
Can Houston miss?
They are 10 of 18 from three-point range. Step back, Bryce Ford, no good. Odom got the rebound. He lets it fly, and finally gets his first basket. Or his first field goal of the game for Odom. He was 0 for 4 and 0 for 3 from 3 before that make. Sinak, good look. Hit a couple in the first half. Meanwhile, down on the floor is Tugler.
He took a shot. On that screen. And they just ran right through him. The officials didn't call anything. And Tugler stays down on the floor for a little bit there.
So he'll go to the bench, and Khalifa Sacco will check in.
It was on the screen, and Tugler not happy about it. And I saw it right away, and it was surprising, actually, it wasn't called.
Tugler, very important player on this team, trying to gain some of the weight back he lost after he had his wisdom teeth pulled. He ended up losing 16 pounds. He's been able to gain most of that back. Offensive rebound by Sharp, and he throws it off of Jop out of bounds.
And obviously Darren Peterson playing so pivotal to that team. Man will play extended minutes and showcase his elite scoring ability.
Mentioned at the top of the telecast that feels like every year is the year of the freshman in college basketball, but more so this year, in part because you got a Houston team that's got a player like Flemings, not used to being, because they've always had veteran teams, a necessary scorer. Who's the best freshman in college basketball in your mind?
Cam Boozer. He's the most productive, and look, he leads the team in points, rebounds, assists, and steals for the Duke Blue Devils. But to your point, this freshman class, not all freshman classes are created equal. And the depth of this freshman class continues to improve over the course of the season as we get more opportunity to see these guys play. Well, Kingston Flemings was a guy we thought was really good, and he was number 22 in the SEC Next 100. But you look at that list on the left-hand side, Abuka Okori at Stanford has been incredible. And the game he had against North Carolina, he has 38 points, 9 assists, 1 turnover in that game. Guys that weren't expected necessarily to be one and done, likely to be one and done this year, and that just continues to improve this draft for the NBA in June.
Sinak with the stuff after Odom picked up his third foul. The lead back to 31. It was 24-2, and that was about 7 minutes into the game, and Houston has not looked back. Ribovic into the chest of the defender and then goes up and banks it home. Houston trying to go to 17-1, 5-0 in conference play. That would tie Arizona for the top spot in the standings. They would be the only two teams left in conference play unbeaten. Nice pass by Sinak. As McCabe met Sacco in the air, Sacco was able to power it up and in.
But just the unselfishness, right? The extra pass. Sinak could have taken that shot.
Ford driving and spinning inside another Houston foul. That is 3 fouls on Houston. They didn't pick up their third foul in the first.
Biggest problem. I mean, this game, got to a 20-point lead in the blink of an eye, and it stayed that way over the course of this game so far.
First free throw good for Bryce Ford. Now, you mentioned this in the first half. It does not feel like a lot of people are discussing Houston nationally. 7th ranked team in the country, just one loss. That was back on November 25th, a 3-point loss against Tennessee. They came into the year ranked number 2 after losing in the national title game last year. They dropped in the polls after that loss to Tennessee. But just watching here tonight, as they have completely destroyed Arizona State, they're as complete as anybody.
Well, when they're making shots, they're almost impossible to beat based on how well they play defense on and how tough they are. Right? I mean, they have 11 offensive rebounds. They've missed 20 shots. That's over a 50% offensive rebound rate in this game as well. I mean, so any number that you look at, you can start to slice it up and go, man, this Houston team has absolutely dominated this evening. Now, you know who will be talking about them? College Game Day next Saturday as they go to Texas Tech. It'll be the first live College Game Day on site. Everybody will be in town for that one down in Lubbock, and they've already beat Texas Tech here in this building. Opportunity to try to get the sweep down there. And I'll tell you what, you watch Grant McCaslin's team, Christian Anderson and JT Toppin, they never come off the floor. And when I say they never came off the floor, they played all 40 against BYU last night, both over 20 points in that game, and nobody's played more minutes in the country this year than Christian Anderson, and they've moved him over with Elijah Hawkins gone into that primary ball handling position. And the matchup between him and Kingston Flemings is going to be outstanding.
Well, the Big 12 is loaded at the top of the standings. When you look at Arizona, Houston, Texas Tech, you would think Iowa State, even with the 2 losses this week.
I don't panic on Iowa State. I think there's, you look at that game and you can sit there and say, okay, there's things to be concerned about for TJ Otzelberger's team because it happened twice in 1 week. They didn't create the turnovers necessary for them to ignite their offense, and they got outscored by 10 by Cincinnati in points off of turnovers, and that's not how Iowa State has done it.
Odom driving and just lost his footing, was not fouled. Uzan leaves it for Flemings. 3 no good. Gribovich lost it, and cleaning it up is Sinek. And the lead back to 30.
And he's had the ball in his hands and just dropped it. And he just gave it right back and spoon-fed Houston.
Sinek now with 16 points. Gribovich left alone. His 3 not even close. What a pass by Flemings. And Uzan can't pay it off with a 3. Kept alive, though, by Sinek. They're just out hustling Arizona State. Odom. Great handle, but terrific play by the trailing Tugler to swat it away. Thursday on ESPN and the ESPN app, women's college basketball, number 2 South Carolina, 19-1, taking on Oklahoma. We'll see if the Sooners drop in the rankings. They lost to number 6 LSU handily today.
LSU with some significant wins, knocking off Oklahoma, knocked off Texas. And Kim Mulkey's team, Flau'jae Johnson, another great season down the bayou.
Jop has a nice pass. You see the skill on display there, the spin and the find, and McCabe with the layup.
You talked about gaining weight. He desperately needs it, and in his lower extremities and up top to be able to handle the physicality of a defense like he's seen tonight from the Houston Cougars.
But the playmaking, that was pretty impressive there off the spin, be able to find McCabe underneath. Shot clock inside of 10, and a turnover. It's a rare possession where Houston, late in the shot clock, turns it over. Great hang and finish by Pig Johnson.
They're almost overpassing on that possession for Houston. They turned down a couple of good looks, and you like the unselfishness, but that time Kingston Flemings got caught in the air.
And another turnover. Mayusin with a steal, and fouled on the other end by Harwell.
Kingston Flemings. And Isaiah Harwell not making friends with Kelvin Sampson on the sideline right now with those back-to-back turnovers. That's one thing Coach will be upset about. But his job, I mean, you watch him just drive in, spin off the defensive player, see the double team, and deliver a great pass. And there's the flashes, and those flashes have been much more consistent as of late, which is why his numbers have been so good.
Leads the country in field goal percentage among freshmen. Overall in the Big 12, all players, he's #1. And he's top 10 among freshmen nationally in blocks. 2 blocks per game. Houston knocks down the first free throw. Chop has not attempted a 3 in this game, but he is 3 for 8 on the year, so he is capable. Houston gets them both.
They wanted to pressure up a little bit, but they weren't in alignment, and they had to just drop back. And Coach Hurley was saying, I just told him we want to put pressure on him out that made free throw.
Nice handle. Flemings driving, hangs and scores, plus a foul.
How about the split as they tried to double team him off that screen? He splits it, snakes right on through the paint, and then extends out and able to finish as he receives the contact. And just his command and control over the game has been very impressive for a freshman.
McCable called for the foul. Walker will return for Houston, and Sharp will get a breather.
The one thing you look at Kingston Flemings that I think I'd like to see him work on more, and the percentage-wise has been good all season long from beyond the arc. It's 39%. When he shoots the 3, though, the ball spins sideways.
Well, he's 4 for 18 in conference play.
Yeah.
So after a hot start, he has not been able to shoot it well against league opponents so far.
And that rotation is something I think, you know, when you look at the next level, they're going to want to try to fix.
Chop looking for the high-low, and another Houston foul. That's the 6th team foul. We've got a media timeout.
Houston was working out with Alan Bishop, the strength and conditioning coach for the Cougars.
Meaning he was working you out. I'm not sure you were working out with him.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how it went. He absolutely crushed me this morning. And he's such a big part of this program here at Houston. Talking to Kelvin Sampson, essential to what they do, helping set the tone with not just the physical and the nutritional aspect of it, but the mental approach to it. And waking up at 5 a.m. to go work out with him 25 miles away, I'm telling you, I'm going to be sore tomorrow.
Well, they have a terrific football performance staff across all their sports here at the University of Houston, and lost a great one, unfortunately, back in October. Kurt Hester, who was the longtime strength coach for the football team, was diagnosed with cancer in February. Was given a month to live. He ended up working all the way through the year, and then unfortunately lost his battle with cancer at the age of 61. Benny Wiley was recently hired on the football side, and Alan Bishop outstanding on the basketball side here at Houston.
He made these things called 6, 12, and 25 reps. We did chest, shoulders. I'm not moving tomorrow. I'm just telling you. Look, he looks like he knows where the camera is too. Like, did you see that? But, you know, part of it is when you get freshmen like Kingston Flemings, right? You bring them onto campus. The strength coach is so essential to the building block of any program, because they're the one guy that can work with you on a day in and day out basis. When your coaches are limited, the strength coach can help set the tone for who these guys are.
Well, especially at a place like Houston, you got to be strong to play for Kelvin Sampson, and it's a big reason why they've had so much success here under Kelvin Sampson. 5 consecutive Sweet 16s, a pair of Final Fours, a run to the national title game last year before losing to Florida in the final moments. Now, Sampson told us before the game he loves this team. He said he loves every team, but he feels very good about where they are now. Early in the year was a little bit of a work in progress. Good hands there by Tugler, but Arizona State keeps possession.
But even that right there, what that does is it slows down the offense, right? Like, it looks like Arizona State's going to have something maybe in transition, and you get a deflection, and it allows your defense to get set back up, and then they foul in the trap.
And with the foul on Houston, Arizona State's going to be at the line.
Again.
Yeah, they attempted 12, made 11 free throws here in the second half alone. I mean, this were the NBA, you'd see 23 points with 10 minutes left and say, oh, that's nothing. But obviously we're at a different level, and also Houston a different team. But if the clock stopped and Arizona State can make its foul shots, maybe they can make it interesting. Truitt knocks down the front end of the 1-and-1. He's 5 of 5 at the line so far.
And if you're Coach Hurley, what you're looking at is, okay, we're +5 in the second half. That's what you're telling your team right now. And the main reason why is because the free throw line. And they hold an 11-point advantage at the free throw line over Houston here in the second half.
Do you think some of the fouls that Houston is committing is because maybe the focus isn't there like it was in the first half? You got a huge lead.
They haven't turned them over as much. Arizona State's been better at limiting their turnovers. And then they've applied pressure on the rim out in the open floor like that. And you know, Coach Sampson, there's certain things he'll accept. He's not going to accept that. And UMKC means that's a job that is open. My former college basketball teammate, Earl Watson, who was the former head coach of the Phoenix Suns, he's been wanting to get a head coaching job at the collegiate level. He is a Kansas City native. Just seems like a really natural, good fit that would elevate the profile of that program if they go the way of Earl Watson.
Meanwhile, Arizona State has the ball. Down 20. Odom can't hit the three. And rebound by Flemings. After Kelvin Sampson called a timeout, that would have been interesting. Off the timeout, a turnover and give up a three, but Houston gets a stop. And the focus return here for the Cougars. A knock away by Truitt, forcing a turnover. 7 straight points by ASU. Maybe too little too late, but they're still fighting.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing you're going to look at if you're ASU. I mean, this game got off to such a horrific start for the Sun Devils. And, you know, when you go back in a locker room and you're just getting drilled at halftime, how do you answer the call in the second half? And they have done a much, much better job of being forceful with the basketball, not turning it over.
Odom cans a three. It's down to 17.
And that's 33 points here in the second half. They had only 29 in the first half. They are +10 in the second half over Houston.
And Houston only gives up 59 a game, best in the country, 9-minute mark. They've surrendered 62.
The building's a little flatter than it was in the first half. They had good energy throughout the course of that run and just trying to do too much.
Out of bounds to Arizona State.
And too many turnovers. It's turnover after turnover on these possessions for Houston.
It was a 31-point lead earlier in the half.
10-0 run right now. They made 6 out of the last 8. Just getting confidence.
It was 27 at halftime. Truitt wide open. They find him. And he loses it. Stolen by Sinek. Here's Flemings. 13 points, 6 assists, 3 steals. Pull-up jumper, not there by Sharp. And Mayusin saves it to Odom. Odom. And reaching in to commit the foul is Sharp. Free throws for Arizona State when we come back, and a chance to get it down to 15 with 8 minutes to go.
This will be free throw attempt number 15 for Arizona State.
They took 2 free throws in the first half. And Odom, who did not score in the first half, now has 7. This is his first trip to the line. 6 assists, but 4 turnovers. 15 turnovers as a team for Bobby Hurley's squad. So Odom makes them both, and it's a 15-point game. 3-quarter court pressure. And Uzan gets it across with a couple of seconds to spare. Top of the circle, the jumper off the heel from Sinak. And Jop gets the defensive rebound and a Houston foul. Going to send Jop to the line for 2 free throws. Double bonus for the remainder of this half.
Well, I mean, that, and again, stops the clock. Gives opportunity for Arizona State to go get points without having to score against the defense of Houston.
And that's 4 fouls on Sharp. So again, you look at the difference in the attempts here alone in this second half. You see the nice touch from Jop. A chance to get it down to 13. That was a 33-point lead at one point here in the second half.
They're plus 15 points at the free throw line here with 7:31 left to go in the second half.
14-0 run over the last 3.5 minutes.
And, you know, look, Kelvin Sampson went deep in his bench. He's played some guys some earlier minutes. They had the comfortable lead. But the turnovers, now the starters are back out on the floor. They need to kind of ramp this thing back up.
And Uzan comes through with a big corner 3.
It's a team's 20th assist for Houston. 5th game that they've had at least 20 assists. And Flemings with another one.
11 triples as Jop gets past his man. Looked like he might have been shoved in the back on the drive by Sinak, but no whistle. Flemings all the way to the cup, and he's fouled.
Flemings finds him in the corner, and Uzan dials up the 3. Next possession, open floor, end-to-end speed. Sees the seam, tries to attack it, and draws the foul and gets to the free throw line. What a game for Flemings. 13 points, 7 assists, a couple rebounds, 3 steals.
And you touched on that rotation on the shot. Something that I would imagine, whether that's at this level or the next level, they will work on.
He had a ton of success, but that rotation, I mean, the ball starts spinning sideways. And it has a lot to do with where his hand is placed on the ball and how much of the ball is shifted over onto the outside of his hand.
But he makes them, and he's a good shooter on the year. 80% at the line and 40% from 3. 5 straight points for Houston to go back up 18 with 6.5 to go. Defensive intensity picking up, and a timeout by Arizona State. Bobby Hurley not happy with Pig Johnson.
And then driving and attacking when they've had the opportunity, and that's what's allowed them to get to the free throw line. Just got to be smart.
On the skip, Ford can't hit the 3. Jop offensive rebound, has it batted away by Sinak. Good hands by the freshman, Chris Sinak. We talked a lot about Kingston Flemings, but the other freshman for Houston, Sinak, has had a good night, makes a nice pass, and Tugler with the push shot.
Great unselfishness there by Sinak, just dumping that down to Tugler. Sinak's got 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists.
And 7 points in a row for Houston after Arizona State cut it to 13 when they trailed by 33 earlier in the half. Rising is Mayusin, but he can't bury the triple, and it's one and done. Rebound by Sinak. Flemings, no driving lane. Houston trying to win its 11th straight. They've won 16 straight on the road. That's the longest active streak in the country. They've won 14 in a row at home and 47 of 48. Sinak with the follow jam off the Flemings miss.
He's just taken over the last couple of possessions at both ends of the floor. The defensive rebound, the assist, and now the offensive rebound and putback. The thing about Houston is they're just going to keep getting better because these freshmen are going to keep getting more and more comfortable and have better understanding of what Kelvin Sampson wants of them.
McCabe knocks down the mid-range shot.
And it's that fact that they're going to get better that should scare a lot of people in college basketball.
And the only loss for Houston was against Tennessee back in late November. They are the two-time defending Big 12 regular season champs. They won the Big 12 tournament last year. The pull-up is good from Flemings. He's got 17 points, 7 assists, and 4 steals. Lead back to 22. McCabe, another mid-range jumper. That one's no good. And now Houston can breathe a little bit with the lead back to 22. Make it 24. Another assist by Flemings. The throwdown from Tugler at timeout, Arizona State.
These freshmen are special. You love the elder statesman, and that is the heartbeat of the Cougars. But that heartbeat has been passed on to some very talented freshmen to have a clear understanding of how they want to execute in the half court, whether it's is the biggest key, right? Like, they bought into the system. And I asked Coach Sampson at shoot-around today, you're still transformational in this transactional world that we're living in. What's the key? He said relationship, 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 relationship. And he says he doesn't have to be the center of their life, but they're the center of his life. He's outside of his family. And because of that, he's developed personal relationships with each one of his players. He says that's the biggest key. And, if you watched NFL Countdown today, he talked about Vrabel with the 4 H's, trying to get that personal connection with the Patriots. And very similar to what Kelvin Sampson has done here at Houston and why his teams year after year excel.
Flemings drive and kick. Uzan will pull it out. Uzan penetrates and hits the hang jump shot. So the lead is back to 26. Looked like for a moment there, Arizona State was making its move and had a chance to pull off a miracle, but quickly the Cougars have pulled away once again.
The toughest part when you're in a big hole is trying to climb out of it, and the energy that it takes and the focus that it takes to get there.
Foul on Truitt. That's only the 4th team foul on Arizona State. And the other thing Kelvin Sampson told us today, he said, I have 0 hobbies. He said, I could play golf, but I'm not good, so I'm all about basketball. And as you said, Sean, all about his players. And you can feel it. We go to a lot of shoot-arounds over the course of a year. It's impressive how they operate.
The attention to detail, what is demanded, what is focused, and yet the amount of fun that they have as well. The energy throughout the shoot-around. They have also, by the way, have more managers, I think, than any program in the history of college basketball.
I think it's a manager per player, it feels like. As Houston has 12 three-pointers now on the night. That is a season high. Flemings with 20 points. His first three-pointer. They had a 33-point lead. It went down to 13 a few minutes ago. It's back up to 29.
Another block shot for Kingston Flemings.
That's his second to go with 4 steals.
Just what he's been able to bring over the course of this game. 8 assists, the steals, the block shots, and then the ability to stretch this possession, his first 3 of the game. He gets to where he wants to be out on the floor, and he's in complete command and control when the ball is in his hands.
So that'll be it for the night for Sinak and Flemings. As Truitt hits the deck, and that's a bad foul on Houston with 2.8 on the shot clock to commit a foul there.
I think McCarty actually was trying to catch him as he was falling.
All right, right, so if you were picking, Sean, right now, on January 18th, basically at the midpoint of the year, the 4 best teams, hard to pick the Final Four because you don't know the matchups, but the 4 best teams right now in college basketball, would Houston be in that top 4?
For me, they are, because of their identity. And you think about making a run in the NCAA tournament, you've got to try to prepare, sometimes on short notice, on that second game of the weekend to play against this Houston team and how physical they are, how they compete, how they monster everything along the baseline, the turnovers they can create and manufacture. And I just think their offensive components are getting better and better. But I think it's pretty easy right now. You look at Arizona and their continued success and what Tommy Lloyd's been able to do down there. And I love the fact that Jaden Bradley is such an experienced guard, 3rd year that he's been in that system, and how well he's playing for Coach Lloyd and the Wildcats to go along with a couple of very talented freshmen there as well.
Houston and Arizona will play here on February 21st. That game will be on ABC, by the way. That is the one matchup between the 2 schools this year.
And that benefits Houston having it in this building as Mercy Miller goes in and gets his first bucket. The product out of Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks,
whose dad is Percy Miller, also known as Master P, although I wonder how many of our listeners actually, because Master P's in his mid-50s. He was like hip.
Well, I guarantee you Master P's listening, and he's well aware of what he's accomplished. You and I both are. I give Mercy credit. You know, like, here's a guy that was a top 100 recruit coming out of high school. Didn't play a whole lot last year. In this day and age of transfer portal, it just shows you the trust and faith he has in Coach Kelvin Sampson, trying to bring out the best in him. And he can really score the basketball. I saw it a ton when he was in high school. That high school is right down the street from where I live.
And that also puts Houston over 100 points. And the lead back to 30. Again, it was down to 13 at the 5-minute mark. And another Houston foul.
Well, tie a bow on Mercy Miller. You know, in this day and age, you're a top 100 recruit, you don't play a whole bunch, you bail. But what that tells me is that he understands, and he's looking around and goes, if I can learn how to play like Kelvin Sampson wants me to play with the offense that I have, he's got a chance to be one of those guys that becomes a program player, meaning that he stays here for a couple more years and then ends up transitioning into the professional ranks.
Yep.
And it's trusting that journey. And sometimes kids are looking for the shortcut, the short path to try to get there as fast as they possibly can.
I mean, not everybody is in the same financial situation as well. Some guys need to take the opportunities when they're there to make as much money as they can in college. Some don't have to.
But I do think Mercy Miller is going to continue to grow as a player here, and I think he's going to get better and better over his time.
Path to the college football playoff is coming up next. Don't forget the national championship games on ESPN tomorrow night. Miami and Indiana from Miami. Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback for Indiana, is from Miami, Christopher Columbus High School. Foul on the play. McCarty drives. He'll shoot 2 with 18.6 left.
Coach Kelvin Sampson just slipped and fell on the bench. Players all laughing at Coach. He's covering his face on the sideline.
So first time Houston's hit triple digits since March of 2024, actually in an NCAA tournament game against Texas A&M. Kelvin still having a chuckle about that with official Doug Sermons, who saw it.
Impressive. Yeah, I mean, this Houston team, they looked the part today, didn't they?
Absolutely.
I mean, outside of that, where they fouled too much and had a couple turnovers for that little brief stretch that allowed Arizona State to go on that big run, they've been in complete control of this game since the second the ball was tipped.
Houston improves to 17-1, 5-0 in conference play, 11 straight wins overall, 15 in a row here at home.